What if I told you guys that there was something you could be doing that has been proven to be more effective for your weight loss than even starting your meal with a salad? It's healthy, it's sustainable, and it's kind of easy. I've been doing my research, I've been applying it to myself, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. So let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Stasia and I'm following a high carb, low fat, plant-based diet, oil-free, based on the recommendations of Dr. John Mcdougall's book called The Starch Solution. If you're new here, my channel is all about my own health and weight loss journey, as well as helping you with yours. So be sure to check out all of my What I Eat in a Day videos. I have tons of recipes to help you out with this high carb, low fat, plant-based way of eating. And I also have an awesome active Facebook group. We talk about our successes, we talk about our struggles. There's tons of different meal suggestions. So if you're new to this way of eating and looking for a little bit more support or guidance, then be sure to check out my Facebook group. The link will be posted in the description box below. Oh, and also, if you're new to the Starch Solution or just a high carb, low fat, plant-based way of eating in general, then I just did a video where I explained the differences between the two different programs that Dr. Mcdougall has, which is the maximum weight loss version and the regular Starch Solution version. So if you'd like a little bit more clarification on either of those programs, how they work, then be sure to check out that video. I will have the link posted in the description box below as well. So be sure to check it out. Okay, so for those of you who are familiar with the Starch Solution or maximum weight loss plan, then you've probably heard about or seen the 50-50 plate. So that's where we have half of the plate filled with starch, such as beans, rice, legumes of any kind, really, potatoes, sweet potatoes, and then the other side of the plate filled with non-starchy vegetables, such as greens, peppers, zucchini, and any other low-calorie density vegetables. But there's something else that we can be doing, whether that's in addition to the 50-50 plate or just in general. Some of us are not even following the 50-50 plate. And I was actually kind of surprised that it's not talked about more often, or that it's not in our bag of tools for our weight loss journey, because it can be found right on Dr. Mcdougall's website. Preloading. What is it and why aren't we talking about it more? Preloading is starting a meal with lower calorie density foods in order to lower the overall caloric intake of the entire meal. Okay, but isn't that the 50-50 plate? Not exactly. So similar concept as the 50-50 plate, because we are just diluting the meal with non-starchy, lower calorie density foods to still be able to bulk up the volume, feel full without paying the caloric price for it. But today, I want to talk about a specific strategy that can be found right on Dr. Mcdougall's website by Jeff Novick, which is Dr. Mcdougall's registered dietitian for the Mcdougall program, and he's also the one who facilitates the discussion forum on Dr. Mcdougall's website. Okay, so Jeff Novick created a 10-point checklist for the maximum weight loss program. And again, even if you're not following the maximum weight loss version, it's no problem. You can still follow this guideline. For me, I follow the regular Starch Solution version, but I do sometimes at some meals or some days follow some of the recommendations or strategies such as the 50-50 plate sometimes. So I guess you could say I kind of do a hybrid between both the programs. So certainly if you're not following maximum weight loss, this can still apply and will work just as well. So for those of you who haven't seen the 10-point checklist, I will have that posted in the description box below. It will be a link to Dr. Mcdougall's website because that's where you can find it. So the number one point on the checklist is to start each meal with a soup and or salad and or fruit, aka preloading. And again, I want to point out that this isn't to replace the 50-50 plate. This is actually in addition to the 50-50 plate, that we're supposed to be starting our entire meal off with a super salad or fruit. So this is kind of interesting because it's not something that we really hear a lot about. It's just directly to the 50-50 plate. But this is a really, really effective strategy. And we're going to get into it even a little bit deeper. Okay, so start our meals off with a soup or a salad. Got it. Easy enough. But when we say soup or salad, we mean a non-starchy soup or salad. Now, I have made videos, or one video, on how to make a starchy soup and a starchy salad. That's not what we're talking about here. So as we probably all know or can agree, The non-starchy vegetables are the lowest calorie density foods that we can eat. So when we talk about preloading with a soup or a salad, we're referring to just the non-starchy vegetables. So what that's going to look like is going to be a salad with probably just some vinegar or some lemon juice or some really, really low fat, of course, low fat, but even low calorie dressing on top. When we are talking about preloading with a soup, it's the same thing. So this is not going to be a soup that has potatoes, sweet potatoes, beans, any type of grain. This is going to be a non-starchy soup loaded with non-starchy vegetables and water. So the next question might be, which is better to preload with, a soup or a salad? Is there any difference at all, or is it the same thing? Well, apparently there is a difference, and soup takes the cake. I am going to pop on over to Dr. John Mcdougall's website on my laptop here and pull up a very interesting short article called On Salad, Soup, and Success. I am going to have this linked in the description box below. I encourage you guys to check it out. Again, right off of Dr. Mcdougall's website. So Jeff Novick talks a lot about the difference between preloading with a soup or a salad. Interestingly enough, he stresses that salads are not required for success. So that's really good news for someone who doesn't particularly enjoy salads, or sometimes we just don't feel like eating a salad. So Jeff Novick says, and I'm just going to read it right off the website so I don't mix up his words. And sorry if you can hear my rabbit in the background. He's having a drink of water. Okay, so he says, while adding vegetables to a meal lowers the overall calorie density and it's an important part of my recommendations, salad is not required. In fact, when we look at the research on this, the form of vegetables that lowered overall calorie density the most and was the most filling was not salads, but vegetable soup. And the reason for that can be applied to the same reason why preloading with soup will be one step up than just following the 50-50 plate alone. Can anybody guess? Okay, I'll tell you. It's the water content. It's the water content not only in the non-starchy vegetables, but in the soup itself. The water content is going to make you feel nice and full, and not in that overstuffed kind of full way, but just that like warm hug on a cold winter day, perfect kind of full. And how do I know this? Because I have personally been preloading on soup for about the last 4 or 5 days or so, and I'm mind blown. It has been incredible. Like I even told my husband, I'm like, I actually can't believe how this feels and how this is working. I just feel so comfortably full, filling up on the most nutritious foods in the world at that. And then when I'm going to eat my starch afterwards, it's just the perfect marriage between the both of them. I'm full, feeling wonderful off of the soup, and then I stay full because I'm having my starch after. Enough about me and more about the soup. So just going back to the website, we're going to wrap this up, but I think it's important to share the 3 different ways that you can consume soup to help with your weight loss goals. So the first one is the basis of this video, and that is that soups can be an effective preload to a meal. So basically, you're filling up with the non-starchy vegetables to reduce the overall calorie density of a meal consumed beforehand as a preload. Now, here is an interesting golden nugget of information that I also found on a YouTube video that Jeff Novick was speaking on. I will also have that linked in the description box below if you actually want to hear him explain this. But he says that studies have shown that salad preloads reduce the overall calorie density for the meal by 7% for a smaller salad and by 12% for a larger one, while soup preloads lowered the overall calorie density of the meal by 20%. 20%. That's nothing to scoff at. That's pretty incredible. Okay, so secondly, he talks about how soups can be used as the non-starchy vegetable for the 50-50 plate. So for example, he says having a bowl of vegetable soup with a plate of rice and beans. And he said that this can be a really effective strategy. So instead of eating soup as a preload, it can also be used as the non-starchy vegetables in a 50-50 plate. Now, I feel like this has the potential to be a really effective strategy for those of you following the maximum weight loss version and doing the 50-50 plate. I've heard a lot of people, even within my group and in the comments, tell me that they don't stay full long enough or that they need to eat more frequently. So because of that water content and feeling fuller, I feel like using soup as the non-starchy portion of your plate, that could prove to be really helpful in keeping you feeling fuller much longer. Okay, so lastly, he says that soups can be the main meal. And now, like I said before, I have actually talked about this in previous videos where I did my starchy soup and starchy salad. And that's something that I do often. For me, I just love it because I feel like it's a one and done type of meal. It's all there. I've got my non-starchy, I've got my starchy. So I do that pretty often. So it's right there on the website that's a recommendation that you can just have a starchy soup. But the difference being in that case is that you would definitely want to add the starches to it. Whereas with the preload and with the using it for the 50-50 portion of the non-starchy vegetables, you don't want to have any starch added to the soup in that case. But if it is your main meal, then you absolutely want to have some kind of starch added, whether that's any type of legumes or grains or starchy vegetables like potatoes or sweet potatoes added to the soup. And then you can have it as a main meal. So again, if you want to check out that exact article and the YouTube video where Jeff Novick actually talks about this, then I will have both of those linked in the description box below, as well as I will link my video where I teach you guys how I make my starchy soup and my starchy salad if you want to check that out as well. For those of you who know Dr. Greger, which is one of my all-time favorite plant-based doctors, he also talks about preloading with soups in his newest book on how not to diet. He also agrees and advocates that preloading is one of the most effective tools for weight loss. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is that while all this information can be found right on Dr. Mcdougall's website, he does also warn that not to have too many non-starchy vegetables, that you don't have room for your starchy ones. Starches are and will always be important to feel full and to stay full. Non-starchy vegetables, because they are so low in calories, they won't keep us full alone. So it's kind of, again, going back to we need that marriage between the both of them, and it is a perfect marriage. Preloading is not a standalone strategy. It's just there to help us fill up on those lower calorie density foods, feel nice and full, and then finish our meal with our starches that are going to keep us full, allowing us to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight without ever feeling hungry. I really think that preloading with either a soup or salad is fantastic and just fine either way. I think it's great that we have both as an option because sometimes we don't always feel like eating a soup, or sometimes we don't always feel like eating a salad, and one just happens to be a hot meal and the other happens to be a cold meal, which is great and beneficial depending on the time of year or just how we're feeling. But if I had to choose one, because I have done both and I am doing both as preloads, I would have to say that soup would be the winner for me. And the reason why is a few things. A salad, well, it can be a little bit more time consuming to prepare. And let's face it, when we're starving, it's, time is everything. And salads can be a little bit more expensive and you need to make sure you have all your fresh ingredients on hand. And also, if your dressings aren't made and you're ready to eat now and you have to still prep your dressing, that can sometimes be a deterrent. And sometimes I'm just a little bit tired of the acidic dressings. So if that's vinegar or lemon juice, so it's nice just to be able to take a break from that and have soup as an alternative option. And as far as soup goes, the list could really go on. I mean, they just hold up better. You can batch cook it and make it in advance. They will last for days in your fridge, and then you can even move it to your freezer and they'll last even longer. You can portion it out and take it out each day that you need them. They are far more inexpensive than a fresh salad and super less time consuming. But all in all, preloading, it's my new thing. I have been feeling so much fuller for so much longer. So I really encourage you guys to check out the information I've provided and really give this a try. It doesn't matter, again, if you're following the regular starch solution, if you're following maximum weight loss, or again, if you're just following a whole food plant-based diet, you can also try it. It's really an excellent strategy for anyone trying to lose some weight. If you guys are interested in seeing exactly how I preload on either soup or salad, then be sure to check out my upcoming What I Eat in a Day videos, because I will definitely be showing you guys there. And if you're new to my channel and you've made it this far, then be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. All right, guys, the sun is starting to set and I gotta go make some dinner for the family. So I hope that you guys found this video very helpful, and I definitely hope you guys give this a try. If you do, be sure to drop it in the comments. Let me know how it's working out for you. Or of course, join us in our Facebook group and we can keep the discussion going there. So I'm gonna leave it here. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.